Good morning. So we've had several things happen on the homestead recently, and I know I haven't been on YouTube in a while. It's been super busy, everything that's been going on. But we're going to go out in the garden today, and we're going to walk through all of the new stuff that's happening, all of the new things that are growing and going on. And I'm doing that today because in 2 days, it's going to be 103 degrees. And I'm not going to come out here during the heat of the day. But it is morning, super early this morning. I've already gotten everything done. I didn't milk Mabel this morning, only because I still have milk, so I'm going to do that tomorrow instead. But let's take a look at everything that's growing in the garden. So all of the beds are now built. I am going to alter a couple things this fall in preparation for next year's growing season. But this right here is a walkway. I am going to alter this bed a little bit to make the walkway a little bit bigger. But this rose is going to grow up and over as an arch and basically create an entry point into the garden. And then I have this tree right there. You can't really see it, but that's a mimosa. The flowers are medicinal, so I decided that I was going to grow one of those. In the border bed here, this first border bed, I have transplanted about half of my Jerusalem artichokes. The rest are still in the other area. I haven't gotten to them yet. And I haven't gotten to them because of everything else that's been going on. It's been super busy, a lot of stuff. Yesterday, I AI'd Mabel, so we're going to cross our fingers that she is indeed pregnant, and we'll have a calf in spring of next year. So the potato beds are doing fantastic. They are huge growing. I did get them in quite a bit late in the season, but they seem to be doing okay. We'll have a good harvest either way. Next year I'll get it done sooner and have a better harvest. My strawberries, so I have 4 beds of strawberries. 2 are the ever-bearing and 2 are the June-bearing. And I've been getting quite a bit of strawberries, even though we've had something eating them. And I'm not sure if it's a bird or if it's a little rabbit, because we have a wild rabbit around the garden right now. So I don't know which one it is, but we'll put some netting up and see what we can do about that. The strawberries are just amazingly sweet, super full of flavor. Come out and pick them and eat them right off the vine. So we're looking forward to having quite a bit more all year long. As soon as I get the netting up, I'll actually be able to harvest more than what I'm harvesting now with the pest pressure. Next year, I am going to be, well, no, let me back up. This fall, I'm going to be transplanting all of the strawberries into the asparagus bed, because I learned this year that they work really well together. They're companion plants. And being companion plants, they'll help each other during the growing process. So I bought some baby chicks, and on Thursday, I think it was, they were hatched out and ready at the hatchery on Wednesday. But on Thursday, I noticed there was a Facebook post that said, "Last chance for chicks. All chicks, $2." And I thought, okay, this is a sign. I absolutely have to go get them, because this winter, most of my hens are going to be too old and they're just not going to lay eggs during the winter. But if I get new chicks now, they'll be ready to lay in the winter, so that we'll have eggs during the winter. And the ones that take off winter can take the winter off and just basically be freeloaders. But anyway, I got some chicks, and on Friday, today's Saturday, on Friday I noticed that I had a broody hen. This particular hen has raised babies before. She's hatched them out. She knows her job. She knows what she needs to do. So through previous experience, I know that you have to put them under the hen at night, because when it's dark, chickens don't move. So if you put them underneath at night, then they get used to being underneath the mama at night and stay there all night long. So by the next morning, they should be adopted by the broody hen. So this morning, I come out to take a look, and mama has adopted the babies. You can't even see the babies, but if you try and reach in there, she will peck at you. Oh, well, she's gonna make me out to be a liar. Look at that. Nice mama. Yeah, nice mama. Can we see the babies? Can we see? I did leave a few eggs just because that will keep her sitting. There we go. And as the longer she sits, the more apt the babies are to stay underneath her. So we're gonna leave the eggs for the rest of today and tonight, and then I'll probably take them out tomorrow. I will leave the hen in that box, and it's a double wide box. I took out the centerpiece that separates the two nesting boxes, and then I put chicken wire on the front so her and the babies cannot leave the nesting box, the double length nesting box. And I did that so that I could keep her there. These are 3-day-old chicks, so the chances of her not adopting them, or the chances of the babies not grafting to her, are higher because they're 3-day-old chicks. But so far we've not had a problem. So she'll stay in the nesting box for the next day and night, and then I'm going to move her out to the brooder. I have what was the meat chicken coop that I put chicken wire up so they can't go out of there, but I can still reach in and do what I need to do. And I'll put her in there for about a week. It gives her about 4 times the amount of space that the double wide nesting box gives. And then after the week, I will let her into the orchard, blocking off the rest of the chickens so that she can take them around and start showing them how to forage. And then after that, I will introduce them back into the flock. And hopefully by then, she'll be completely grafted with the babies and protect them. And then they can go out and start foraging elsewhere. So that's what's going on with the chickens. The rabbits are still breeding and producing, and lots of babies everywhere. But that's not the big news here. I have been building inside the workstation. Wes has called it the TOC, the Tactical Operations Center, because we have Army camo netting. So let's talk about that. So Thursday, Wes was with his father. He came up from Arizona, wanted to clear out one of his storage units and take everything back home with him. Well, not everything. He needed to get rid of some stuff, and he wanted to take other stuff home with him. Anyway, so he was getting rid of shelving units, and I needed shelving units. So one awesome benefit, I did get these shelves. They are metal, and they will last longer as soon as we have this covered with plastic. But for now, it's just shaded, semi-shaded, so that I can work in the area without being super, super hot. But these shelving units are going to be fantastic for being able to store all the stuff like the material that I use for making my own potting mix, different things like I think those are water towers. You can put them up super early in the season around your cold, tender plants, and it will insulate them. Anyway, so that's the storage for all of that. So these are the shelving units. There's 4 shelves per 4 levels per shelf. I got all of my wiggle wire up here, just waiting to put it on the other high tunnel. I definitely need to build the end walls on this high tunnel so that I can also build a doorway and put the wiggle wire on that, so that when we do actually put the plastic on it, it will hold it to the end wall. I got my vermiculite, my perlite, I have my my walls of water, I have little nitinoid tools, I got my azomite out here, I got my peat moss, my mixing buckets, and basically a whole shit ton of just different stuff that I use in the garden. I did find this fascinating little thing right here. This I am using to clip and trellis my tomatoes onto a single line, and it's been working out really good. I've used that also on my fig tree. So while Wes was with his dad, I was staining my workstation. As you can see, it's a mess right now. There's a lot of stuff on it. But what I did was I altered a couple things from my original plan because I saw a video, Survival Garden with David the Good, and he was talking about some root crops that he said that you should definitely plant if you're in that zone. Unfortunately, we're not in the same growing zone or hardiness zone, so the stuff that he was planting wouldn't grow very well here. But what I saw was him putting his roots into a bowl that was hung on a hanging scale. And I contacted him. I'm like, I gotta know how you built that. So he sent me the link to the video, and I have that now in the description below. But his video helped me build my weigh station so that I can keep track of all of my harvests. And I used his design. I altered it a little bit, but his design was fantastic. So I had to mimic some of the stuff that he was doing. So let's take a look real close. So David's design, he used a pallet to build his. All of my wood came from a construction site. A neighbor has their house being built, and all of the scrap wood, I went over and I took all of the scrap wood from the construction site. So all of the wood I got at no cost. The only thing I had to buy were the screws to put everything together. I did have to use a bunch of tie-down straps to try and straighten some boards out because they did warp and twist. But I wetted them down with a bunch of water, I strapped them down with tie-down straps, and I was able to salvage quite a bit of the wood. So with that, I was able to get a bunch of 2x4s and 2x6s and build this workstation completely from the scrap wood from the construction site. Now, the thing that David did was he had an upright, but he had it at the back of the table. I have mine at the side of the table. And the reason for that is because on the other side of the table, I have my sink. So I'll be transferring from the sink to the side of the table here, and then I can start weighing out all of my goods. I used one of my, it's more of a cheaper metal bowl. I didn't want to use my really good ones. They were much more expensive, but this was super inexpensive. I had all of these metal clips and spare chain that I got out of the garage, so I already had it, had all of this stuff. I did have to buy a hanging scale, and what I did was I bought two. And the reason I bought two was because I'm going to be weighing more than just vegetables. So the hanging scale goes on this, and this is basically a plant hanger that goes out in the garden. I had this in the garage hanging a workbench light, but since Wes built his shop, that light's been hanging there not being used, and two of these hangers on the wall not being used. So I took one of those, added it to the workbench, took the hanger, the scale hanger. This is actually a fish scale. So you weigh out your fish. You hook up into their gills and you hold on to it and you can weigh your fish. And then I added the bowl to that and I can weigh all my vegetables and my chickens and my rabbits as I start processing those. So I got a larger scale. So this one here goes to 70 pounds. Not that I'm going to need 70, but it definitely is going to help out more than just the 15 pounds. So if I'm weighing a bunch of root crop, it may weigh a little bit more than that. David also built a chalkboard just out of the scrap wood from the pallets, and I thought that was a really neat way of doing that. I haven't built that yet, but I am definitely going to be building a chalkboard that will attach to the back decorative wall here. It is a decorative wall, so you can't really put any weight on it, so I'll definitely have to support it somehow on the back, and I haven't figured out how I want to do that just yet, but I will definitely have a chalkboard back there. Now, as you can see, my workstation is all dirty right now. We were moving everything out of the barn that I wanted out here, specifically for being able to produce all of my crops. And while cleaning out the barn, I kind of moved more stuff out than what I actually needed to move out. And of course, I didn't put stuff back where it goes. So like this, I have a fencing tool that I was using for different things, whether it be wrapping wire, and I didn't put it back. If you ask Wes, he'll tell you that's typical. I just kind of leave it where I last used it. But anyway, so that's still out here. I still have more of my spare chain, and the clips that I used for the weigh station are rabbit cage clips. So that's these little pieces here that then you use this tool and you crunch it down onto rabbit wire. And I used that because I didn't want this clip to come open while I'm weighing something, because then it just all crash and fall to the ground. And anyway, knowing me, that's what's going to happen. Because if you've been watching my channel long enough, you know epic fails almost daily. But you learn from those failures and you move forward and do better. So that's the plan. Anyway, so this is the workstation here. This is my processing side. The sink is on the other side. I do have a little potting dish over here that I can make my potting soil. Underneath is going to be all of my pots that I've collected over the last couple of years. People bring me pots that I can use. But that's it. So this is one of the many projects that I've got going. It's almost done. I just need to clean everything up and put things away. But in the meantime, I will just continue gardening, and we will see you again next time. Bye.